Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
Great.
Yeah? Did you have a good barbecue cook-off this weekend, Irv?
Great barbecue.
Yeah? That was out in Taylor, right? Yeah? How many people were there?
I don't know that many people, but we had, this year we had 67 teams. Last year we had 49.
67 teams?
Yeah.
That's a lot of barbecue.
So we picked up.
Do you have leftovers? Nice. So what's going on? Tell me what's new. All of you guys, not one thing is new. Does anyone have any problems that we want to talk about? Your what? Did you say your weight? Okay, different risk management topic. It's not. Hey, that's not. I mean, I think you look great. Pay less attention to the number, more attention to the feeling. That's what I always tell myself. So there's a few things that we're going to go over today. Avis gave me a list of the top 10 things that people probably don't know about the Texas Real Estate Commission. So we're going to go over one of them. We're going to go over all of them. One of them I found really interesting. What time is the call center open for the Real Estate Commission, and how many people are there? Most people's answer would be, it's never open and no one's ever there. It is more now than it used to be, that's correct. And they're actually open, they open at 6:30 in the morning. So if you call at 6:30 in the morning, you're going to get through rather quickly, because most people think they don't open until 8:30. So yeah, call early if you have to call them. And another trick that I learned, if you have to call the Real Estate Commission, as soon as the phone stops ringing and you get the recording, just immediately start hitting the 0. If you hit the 0, it'll actually put you through to someone eventually. You will have to wait a little bit, but it will put you through. If you don't push the 0 and you're calling during a peak time, it'll just go to a message that says, due to a high call volume, we can't take your call right now. Please call back later. Yeah. But if you keep hitting the 0, it'll actually put you through. So. It's just the call center for the Real Estate Commission. So they're not all open. I can't see you over there. So, yeah.
And how many operators do they have?
I don't know. It doesn't say here. It's at 6:30 in the morning. It's probably just one. They all get there at 8:30. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. There's a new phone option in place that allows a message to be left with enough information to hopefully get the question to the right person who will return the call to you. The length of time for a return call varies on the number in the queue. Also, an auto attendant routing system will be implemented actually this Friday, the 15th. Callers will be able to press a number on the phone that corresponds with their issue and be sent to the person who can best help them with that issue. So they've been working on things like that for a while, and they finally have a system in place where if you're calling for a renewal and you have questions about that, you can hit a button and it'll take you right to the people you need to go to. Otherwise, it was just going to an operator who would then hopefully know who you needed to talk to, and they're kind of trying to streamline it a little bit. If you have a team name, it used to be that you had to fill out a form and then have your broker sign it, and then you had to submit it to the Real Estate Commission. Now, if you have a team name or a different name that you're going to be using for advertising purposes, you can just let us know. Ryan actually knows how to do it as well now, and you can change. Actually, no, I took it back. Lauren knows how to do it now. You can add a team name without having to fill out that form and send it back to them. You'll still fill out the form. We'll keep it on file for you, and we can just log in to the Real Estate Commission and make those name changes for you. So if you're midway through and you decide you wanted to change your team name or something like that, you just let us know and we can make that adjustment for you. If you have questions about forms, there's a link that you can go to that'll take you to a list of all of the different forms that the Real Estate Commission provides, as well as a description for what each form is used for. So we'll post that on our Connect KW page, so there's an easy place for you to get to it. We'll also post it on our Facebook page a little bit later today, so that you can just click the button and get to it. It's really useful for situations where you're like, I wasn't quite sure which form I needed. You can just look at it, look at the brief description of it, and figure out if it's going to apply in this certain case or not. Agents and brokers wondering what happened to their application or renewal can go to the TREC website to check processing time. Have you guys seen that on the website lately? It's a newer feature that they have now that says, hey, if you're going to be submitting your application for renewal, here's approximately the time frame that you're looking at for it getting through. And they're overestimating on how long it'll take. So I submitted my application for becoming an instructor, and they told me it was going to take about 15 days. I had it back 3 days later. So I'm not telling you that for you to assume that if it says 15 days, that it's really going to be 3. Assume it'll be 15 days if it happens earlier. Awesome. But they have that on the website now as well. Did you know that you can get credit for going to a commission meeting? You can get continuing education hours. You can get up to 4 continuing education hours for going and attending one of the real estate commission meetings. It's a really, really interesting process. Last time I was there, I watched somebody get their license taken away, and they weren't too happy about it. But they had been doing property management illegally and not paying for homes that they were property managing. So there was some fraud going on, and he was lucky that that's all that happened to him, was that he lost his license and had to pay a substantial fine. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting process to go and watch. And they talk about a lot of issues that you guys have from time to time. And if you have any concerns that you want to voice about any of the issues that are coming up, all you have to do is fill out a quick piece of paper when you get there, say this is what I want to talk about, and they give you the opportunity to speak directly to the commission and address the things that you're worried about. Well, I'm going to tell you, their next commission meeting is on August 13th at 10 a.m. And then if you ever wanted to go sit in on the broker lawyer committee and kind of watch them work, they're doing that at July 20th at 10 a.m. And then there's a committee for inspectors as well, and that's on July 16th at 10 a.m. And then there's also an education standards advisory board, and they meet on July 9th. And I believe all of these meetings are open, and you can go and observe them because it's all public record type stuff. So, and then the broker responsibility working group, they're the ones who actually get their hands on the contract. All those changes that were made recently to the contract were done through the broker lawyer committee. So, yeah. And then most recent complaint counts and other staff reports. You can go and see exactly how many complaints have been given to the Real Estate Commission. And if you are ever in a situation where you think that an agent may be not acting correctly, you can actually go and look up any complaints that they may have had filed against them and what the complaint was for and what kind of action was taken against them due to any complaints that are on there. That's one of the things that we do when we're interviewing people who are considering joining us is before we go and accept their license, we'll go and take a look at that to see if we're taking a risk and what kind of calculated risk we're taking. So you can always go and do that. That's all public record type stuff. They're rewriting the broker responsibility class, so that'll be a new addition for 2019, although on here it says 2019/2010, so maybe we're going backwards on it, I don't know. And then the Texas Real Estate Commission is currently going through a sunset review as required by law. For more information, you can visit a website. Do you know what the sunset review is? Basically, every single time a legislative session takes place, all of the committees and different commissions in the state are reviewed to see whether or not they still are functioning correctly or whether or not they need to function at all. So every commission in the state of Texas goes through that process I think it's every 2 years to see whether or not they still need to have a portion of the government that's devoted specifically to that. So the Real Estate Commission is getting ready to go through that right now. So, any questions about the Real Estate Commission? Who's the commission designed for? Consumers. Consumers, exactly. It's designed to create protections specifically for consumers. not really designed to create protections for real estate agents. That's why the Texas Association of Realtors was created and the National Association of Realtors. So, any other questions about that stuff?
I got an email yesterday.
Yeah.
They're no longer going to allow coming soons.
That's actually in the Austin MLS. They're getting rid of the feature for coming soons. What do you guys think about that?
Good deal.
I think it's probably the smartest decision they've made in a while, because it caused a lot of drama and issues to begin with, and people didn't use it correctly, and sometimes people thought they put their home in active status when they really put it in coming soon status, and they wondered why it wasn't being syndicated, and yada, 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 yada. It was kind of a nightmare. They didn't really provide education on what it needed to look like or how it was really supposed to function. They just said, hey, by the way, you now have coming soon status if you want to use it. And that was all. I think it's a really good thing that they're not going to have that anymore. Yeah. What else? Anybody got any crazy deals going on right now? I've got a question for y'all. Can you knock out an active contingent if somebody else is going to be coming into a position with a contingency offer?
I would say yes.
Okay. What makes you say that?
If you're, I don't know, I'm just thinking maybe if your contingency is better.
Okay.
Or your offer is better.
Yeah.
You could, I don't know, it seems like you could.
Okay. Other thoughts?
If they had an offer on their property already versus just having it on market.
Okay.
It's still active, so if somebody comes along with a better deal, the owner has the right,
That's gonna say
has
it's
that
up to the
window of
owner.
days, then they can accept or deny.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You guys are right. So let's say that you're in a situation where you want to go and look at a house. It's currently active contingent, and you have somebody who wants to put an offer in on that house. And let's say that maybe the one that's currently under contract, isn't out of their option period or doesn't even have the house listed yet that they need to sell, or the house under contract. And your clients already have their house under contract, and you're already out of your option period, and you're pretty much just waiting for closing to happen. In that case right there, if you wanted to go and put in an offer on the house that's active contingent, yours looks a lot more favorable and has more favorable terms, and the owner could choose to tell the first party they need to waive their contingency in order to accept another contingency. The owner does have the right to do that. The owner could, if they chose to, they could allow another offer to come that didn't have more favorable terms and still accept it. I don't know any owners that would do that or any agents who would encourage them to do that, but they could ask for the client to waive their contingency at any point in time. They have the right to do that.
I was talking to someone the other day about a similar thing, and they said to use an invitation over a counteroffer to renegotiate without giving priority to the other offer. Is it only once like a counteroffer is put in?
So,
I don't know what contingency really is yet.
yeah, contingency is if, let's say that you went and put in an offer on a home, and in order for your clients to be able to close on that home, they had to sell their other home first. And they wouldn't be able to close unless that happened. So that's, in that position, you would put in a active contingent offer. So we're buying the home based upon the understanding that you have that we have to sell our home in order to make the purchase of this one possible. And in that case right there, another party who maybe has cash or maybe doesn't need to have a contingency can come in and say, we want to buy the home right now. And then the owner or the sellers could have the right to ask the person who's active contingent upon the sale to drop their contingency. Yes?
Bill Vernon has a question, and I don't know, he's still watching.
What's his question?
I don't know, it's a compliance question. He didn't tell me what the question was.
Pick up the phone and ask him.
Well,
Hi, Bill.
you know,
I can't hear him, but is he still on the phone?
no, I'll call, but,
Maybe that's who tried to call me a second
I
ago.
think so. I think
Got
he
it. Yeah.
called.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we'll call Bill and ask him what his question is real quick.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, oh, go ahead.
Hey, Bill.
Got it, yeah.
What's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you got a timing issue on the video, so we're not in sync with you on time.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so Leah has a question about a FISBO.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, the FISBO, I showed it this morning, and my buyer wants to make an offer on it. The owner does not have didn't have a seller's disclosure, doesn't have the on-site sewer. Can I give them those off of our dot loop?
You can.
To fill out?
You can provide them with the Trek version of those forms because the Trek version is specifically for consumers. Is he seeking any representation from you at all?
No.
No. Okay, so it would be best.
Answer our other question.
It would be
Yeah,
best to.
that we're-
Yeah, it'd be best to point him in the direction of the forms that are on the Real Estate Commission website because those ones are specifically for consumers.
Okay, perfect.
And then have you addressed commission?
Yes,
Okay.
they agreed to my 3%.
And you used the broker owner commission agreement for that?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Good. Then you're in good shape.
Okay, I don't need anything else filled out from them?
No. It would be wise to get something from them in writing that says that they understand that you are not representing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
All right?
Thank you.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can that FISBO refuse to fill out a seller's disclosure? I just don't know. Do you guys know?
They
I mean, legally, they have to-
well, they could refuse to fill it out. In which case,
Yeah, I
what
don't
would our
know.
fiduciary obligation to our client be? It would be to inform them, hey, without knowing the risks that you're going into here, I would advise for us to find another property.
That could be like a foreclosure, it's the same thing there, but,
A foreclosure.
you know, a lot of clients just really want a house.
Yeah.
So,
In a foreclosure situation, a seller's disclosure is not required
right.
because the bank owns the property.
So wouldn't you just refer the seller to the Texas Property Code and make sure that they're aware of the liability and?
That's what I would do. Is
And just kind of scare them into.
I'd probably email them or text them.
There's only two or three.
Whatever you do,
different ways you can get out.
do it in a way that you can prove that you've sent them the resource, like sending them a direct link for the Texas Property Code citing that a seller's disclosure is required in these 11, with the exception of these different 11 instances, and they don't fall into one of those instances. So yeah, it would be wise to inform them, hey, you're obligated to provide a seller's disclosure. Even if they did provide a seller's disclosure and it said unknown on it, they've still lived up to their obligation of providing something. Yeah, unless you can prove that they really did know something that they said unknown about, which happens fairly often. So, yeah.
If you're going to bid on a HUD property,
Mm-hmm.
how long do they usually take to make a decision, and do they wait till they have a certain number of bids, or how does that work?
It depends. Some of them are really quick. Some of them can take 3 to 6 weeks. Most of them have I think they have to have a published date on it now. But some of the time periods will be longer, and some of them will be, we're accepting offers for the next 72 hours. It ends at Monday at 5 or something like that.
Yeah, and then, because I did see, the one that I was thinking my clients were gonna be interested in doing that on, it ended up where the bid date was midnight that day.
Yeah.
So we decided not to do it, but, I didn't know how long it was gonna take them to
Yeah.
decide, or, it was just kind of a new thing.
And so,
Definitely a new thing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in the case of a HUD home, if your bid is accepted, I'm actually the one that has to sign the contract with the Housing and Urban Development Department, because they have to have somebody who's authorized by the broker to sign those contracts, and I'm that person for the office.
Okay.
So myself and I think Lauren Sansing can do it as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
Sue has a comment about the,
Yeah.
seller's disclosure from the FISBO.
be where you check whether or not you've received the notice, or you have how many days to get the notice. If they refuse to give it to you, you can get out of the contract, right?
Correct. Yes. You can get out of the contract. In which case, do your buyers choose to get out of the contract?
Right, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
is you have that option
Mhm.
without any kind of argument.
I mean, it would be crazy for a seller to choose not to give you a seller's disclosure because they're opening themselves up to limitless litigation
Yeah,
if they didn't provide you with one.
but they're from some pretty stupid people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Preach. All right, what else? Megan, you had something pretty interesting happen the other day.
Yeah, I had a local title company email title work and an executed contract to the property address on the contract, yet they were fully aware that this was a probate situation and that was being leased by a non-interested party. And so that caused some damage with people that are not involved in the transaction that are currently leasing the property to see all of the contract paperwork.
Yeah.
Who's set to be purchasing the property and things of that nature. And this person's lease terminates when the property is sold, so.
So they opened mail not addressed to them,
It was addressed to them.
to the renter's name?
It was addressed to the property, there was no name on it.
To the title company?
Mhm.
Was the correct owner's address in the contract?
No, but they were emailed it, and they were told, because there's been there's been probate and information that's been mailed and
Yeah.
back and forth.
So what do you think about that?
Do you want me to go into the next part of it?
Not yet.
Okay.
What do you think about that part so far?
It's one that I like, and I'm very disappointed, so,
Yeah. What are your thoughts around that?
What was it?
Non-interested party was mailed the contract and title work for a property that's in probate. So it's basically the tenants of the property were given all the paperwork for the contract, even though we were going back and forth and other communication, title company did that.
Well, it's unnerving to lose your trust in the title company.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff comes automatically from services when they order title work, and it depends on the address on the contract where they mail stuff to.
Yeah.
So we got that, then we saw what the return address was. It was the local office. So that's what was, we just found that out.
Did the title company say whether or not they were the ones that sent it, or
They
it was
said
one
that
of their
they did
servicers that
not,
sent it?
yet the information and photo we had today showed otherwise.
Got it. So what
But
was?
that was their explanation, and
what
that,
was-
that made sense to me, was
Yeah.
that, we automatically send this out, but why was the contract in there?
So
Yeah.
did you put whose address was in the buyer or the seller's information on the contract?
There wasn't, it said ask agent, and they've been
Okay.
going back and forth.
See, that's
To the
where
correct
problem-
address.
That's where the problem started. And so many people don't fill in addresses.
Yeah, and they didn't want this one due to the situation and what their attorney had told them.
Yeah.
To just send it through me to keep their private information off the contract unless the title company.
So in that part of the contract, you put ask agent,
Mhm.
and they didn't do that.
Well, they've been already communicating by mail, so
Yeah.
they have their address.
Got it. In this case, they just slipped up and sent it to the wrong place. Yikes.
They made a mistake.
Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening?
So we were advised that this arrived in the mail on Thursday, and my clients advised me of this happening on Sunday, but in that time period, apparently on Friday or Saturday, the building behind where the tenants are renting was vandalized very badly, and so they believe that it was the tenants that did that due to the fact that
Oh, no.
there's other things that are going into that factor.
And pointing in that direction.
Pointing in that direction,
Yeah.
so it's not as much jumping to as many conclusions as it might seem on the outside, but, yeah, so. And they've got attorneys that are upset.
Why couldn't why didn't they put the attorney's address to send it to, where the buyer's information?
You could have.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, that's what they told me to put in there, so that's,
In this case, the attorney instructed them to put ask agent instead of the instead of the address for the attorney's office. Now, you could have put the address for the attorney's office, and they had been sending multiple things to other places, so they knew that there was a different address involved. I think they just screwed up accidentally. I don't think it was done intentionally by any means at all. Yet, it's one of those places that can be a really sticky situation, especially if you're dealing with a home that needs to be sold and you've got tenants in it who don't really want to leave. Those are, I mean, you kind of got to walk on eggshells in those deals. And in this situation, that one mistake, I mean, it could still have the potential to cause a lot of bad things to happen. Yeah, it could be.
Absolutely be a
It could be.
coincidence,
So did the tenant, have they received a 30-day notice yet? Should they?
So they knew they were gonna have to move.
They didn't know who the purchaser was, though.
So they opened up the owner's mail, is basically what they did.
But it was just addressed to the property address, not to the, it didn't have a name on it? Is that correct?
Correct.
Sounds like there are a few things that were missed in this one.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My guess would be they opened up the owner's mail and they threw the envelope away, would be my guess.
Yeah.
This happened to me, and we had the practice at the end of the year sending principals the closing statements.
Yeah.
Well, the correct address was on this, the correct name was on it, the mailman left it in the wrong box. And being in Taylor, everybody knows it. So, the wrong recipient was able to read the whole transaction and what the seller received. And he went over 2 houses down and started saying, man, you're in the money. I got something here that you really got a lot of money here. Well, guess what that did? That created a whole can of worms. The seller calls me and lets me have it. He's gonna get an attorney and sue me and da-da-da-da-da. Well, very fortunately, again, being in Taylor, I was able to resolve it without having to go to litigation. But I don't know how you correct mail problems. They
Yeah,
are
that's
not
crazy.
to be corrected.
Sue the post office.
Anyway.
Sue the post office.
I still did it.
Good luck.
When I closed my office down, but anyway, it's quirks with the mail
Yeah.
system too, so it's not just a top.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like your recommendation of sue the post office, Diane.
Rita said, when she taught that class of 32 outs, to be really careful about, and this isn't the same thing that
Yeah.
Megan's talking about, but a lot of times agents put their email address on there for
Yeah.
contact, because if that title company sends you something and you fail to provide it to the buyer,
You're now the
then
responsible
you
party.
are now the responsible party.
Correct.
And may have caused the buyer not to have an out in the
Correct.
contract. So they said to be really careful about don't put in your information there, to make sure you put in the buyer or the sellers.
Yeah, choose who's supposed to be most responsible for it.
Right.
In very, very, very rare instances, would you be the person who would be responsible for that? Ideally, it's the buyer or the seller, and they have a physical address where they can get things. Sometimes that physical address will be the home that they're selling until closing, because these things will all be delivered to them before that point in time. But just make sure that you're filling it in as best as you're able. And in this case, if they say ask agent for the address, that's okay as long as the attorney has told them to do that and you have a paper trail saying the attorney told them to do that. But ideally, it would be better if you put the attorney's address on there, so that they could get it. So that they could get it to that.
So
But
they're in default
correct.
instead of you.
Yeah. So you can call that attorney and say, hey, how come you didn't provide it to them? It was sent to you on this date. We show that it was receipted, and so on and so forth. It's also important to realize that a title company is not a party to the contract. So there are things on there that they are asked to perform on but they're not a party to that contract. So if something that they've done prevents the home from being able to close on time, either the buyer or the seller is in default. It's because the title company is not a party to it. Now, could the title company have lawsuits brought against them because they didn't do the things that they were supposed to do in a timely manner? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's still a buyer and a seller who are the parties to that contract. So one of them would be in default. Or, in a case that I heard the other day, both parties are in default because it was a mail out, and now one party, the seller's party, the selling party decided that they don't want to sell the house anymore. The buying party decided that they don't want to buy the house anymore, but both sets of documents arrived later than they were supposed to because both parties held on to them longer than they were supposed to, and now they're arguing over who should get the earnest money, even though both of them are technically in default. I had a lender call me the other day and said, "What would you do?" And I said, "Good luck, buddy," because they're both in default. One of them was in default. I mean, it really comes down to hours on when the documents got there. And now they're both saying they don't want it to fund because neither of them want to finish the transaction. I think what will probably end up happening in this case is the earnest money will probably be split down the middle, and there's probably going to be lawyers involved. Praise the Lord, it's not part of our office. So, yeah. Any other questions about anything crazy like that? All right, well, let's just hop right on into the team meeting then. It's good to see you guys. All right, we've seen this video before, but I want to play it again because it's been about at least a year and a half since we've done it. It's actually called Whodunit, and it's going to see how closely you're paying attention. So will you hit the lights for me, Ryan?
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
I was planting my petunias in the potting shed. Constable, arrest Lady Smythe. But how did you know? Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away. It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
Did you notice 21 things changed in that video?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Now you're going to see.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
I was planting my petunias in the potting shed. Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
So that's a cyclist commercial that they actually did. But how crazy was that? Did you notice all 21 of those things changing while you were watching that video? Yeah, I mean, I noticed the first time I ever watched it, I noticed that the night was different, but I didn't notice that the guy on the ground actually changed. I thought that was pretty crazy. And then there's another portion of that, and sometimes we're paying attention to the wrong things.
It's just, there's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me, and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And stuff. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever gonna stop.
You do have a nail in your head. Whoops. Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there.
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing.
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
See, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See,
out.
you're not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just, sometimes it's like, there's this achy, I don't know what it is. All my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
That sounds really hard.
Ow!
On. If you would just
Don't.
How many of you guys have been in a real estate deal like that? Oh no, I don't need a price reduction. You don't need to tell me what I need to do. What are you talking about? I just want to get my house sold.
And
Well,
then they withdraw it, and then they list it for $10,000 less the next week.
are you speaking from experience? You want to tell me more?
You know, some listings just seem toxic from the beginning. You think you have confidence, and then you provide information they keep ignoring. My favorite was, and we were approaching the end of the 6 months, and I got an email on Friday, this was last week, whenever it was,
Yeah.
asking, where did that 120, or where did that 325 come from? Did I miss an email that came from the son, who's been involved too, and I sent him a copy of his email telling me to reduce the price to $325 at the end of April, which we did, and I've been in touch with him since. And then I get this call, well, we only a couple weeks left, we're just not sure what we're gonna do. Why don't we just go and terminate it, my sister may move there, blah, blah. I knew it was a lie. And I said, keep showings this weekend, let me check on that. And I did, and one of them was an agent who I figured would soon be listing it. And so I just talked to Scott and said, it's just poison to me. I want to let it go get my stuff out of the house and move on. And I did, send him an email. Please, we agreed I could get by even without the termination of listing because it was so hostile. Just confirm to this email. They did not confirm the email. It was on a Monday. On a Wednesday, I get a call. Why have you not withdrawn it? Because no one confirmed my email. Yes, I did. I didn't receive it, but just based on this phone call, I documented, said we could do it. And, so it went back on the market very quickly, $10,000 less.
With that agent.
With agent,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
How many times does that happen though? You've been talking about a price reduction for maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then the listing is up, and then all of a sudden it's listed with someone else, and they've got it reduced to, oh my gosh, the price you told them the whole time.
Yes. Right.
Who else has it happened to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. It sucks. And sometimes they've got a nail in their head and they just don't want to realize it. And it takes a different person to come in and tell them, hey, you got a nail in your head. What are we going to do to fix it? So, I mean, in situations like that, if you ever need, if you think it's just going to take a second person to validate what you've been telling them, you just tell me what I need to say, and I'll back you up. Don't be afraid to call me and say, hey, Scott, if you helped me on this one to get that point across that, hey, we need to do a price reduction. I've helped other agents before. I've even gone to a couple of houses and said, hey, here's what I'm seeing, here's what the market's kind of telling us, and I think in order to get your house sold, we need to make the price reduction this, and I'll tell them exactly what you just said, and it works. And sometimes it was just that second person to come in and say, hey, you got a nail in your head. Here's what we need to do to fix it. So I'm happy to help however I can in those situations. Anyone else ever had a situation kind of like this that's come up? Yeah, it happens all the time. So what do you think about that deal that the president signed in the middle of the night? That was the strangest thing I think I've ever seen. Was the North Korean thing. I mean, I give him credit for actually going and meeting with the guy and getting something done. But it was like two really awkward individuals meeting at first, and like if you watch their body language, it was it was bizarre to say the least. And like they were really stiff and had faces like this. And then by the end of it, after they had their like 3-hour lunch, they're walking out like old pals. And I guess Kim Jong-un from North Korea, one of his big bucket list items or something like that was that he had always wanted to see inside of the president's car. So they walked out to the Beast, which is what they call the Cadillac the president rides in, and he opened it up and let him look around inside of the thing, and then they go and sign. And then after that, the press says, well, where are you guys going? And they said, we're going to go sign something. And they said, well, what are you signing? And the president says, oh, we'll tell you in a few minutes. They go sign a document, and then they talk about how all of that they've agreed to get rid of all of their nuclear weapons as long as the United States agrees to no longer do war games with South Korea. And I think it all comes back down to, what was it? Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So, I mean, in the middle of the night, history was made. And we got to sign a pretty important document today as well. Probably not world-changing or anything like that for the rest of the world, but it's world-changing for us guys because we signed our certificate of occupancy this morning. So now I get to, this afternoon, take this to the city of Georgetown and get them to make it happen. And what we're planning to do on Thursday afternoon, if you're available, this is tentative right now because I still have to go and talk to the contractor about it. They're putting windows in the front of the building as we speak for the main part of the building, which is what we knew was going to take the longest. And now that it's happening, that means they're going to be able to start putting carpet in really soon. So what we'd like to do on Thursday afternoon at about 3:30 is if you have a scripture or saying or anything like that that you want to put on the floor on the inside of our building, we're going to do that probably at 3:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. We're going to do a building dedication, and then after all of those things go in there, they'll start putting the carpet in there. So I just want to make sure you all know that you're invited to that. You can write anything you want to as long as it's positive on the floor. Or if you have a rival against UT and A&M and you guys want to duke it out on the floor, that's perfectly fine too, because that's what happened in the Round Rock building when they originally did that. Or maybe it's the Rangers, Astros, I don't know. We're just going to have fun with it. So that'll be on Thursday afternoon tentatively. More details will come out this afternoon after I talk to the foreman down there. So any questions about that? Perfect. All right, so the Summer of Selling, actually. Here's what the prizes are going to be. And Donna and I are going to be working this afternoon together. We got about an hour time blocked out to divide the teams up. We weren't able to get it done as fast as we thought we were going to be. But I wanted to share with you what the prizes are, and you'll know what team you're on by tomorrow morning. So here's what the prizes are. First place is going to be a 4-night cruise for 2 or $1,500 in cash. You choose whichever one you want. Second place is going to be a 2-night stay at the JW Marriott in Austin or San Antonio. I would highly encourage you to choose the San Antonio one because it's really, really awesome.
It's awesome.
They've got like a lazy river. They've got a beachfront area, some huge slides, really nice golf course. Yeah, they do s'mores and stuff like that outside. It's really, really awesome. And then third place is going to be a $250 Visa gift card. So you'll know what team you're on, like I said, by tomorrow morning. And we're going to clear that hallway there and put up some things, and you'll be able to see what you've got for progress. Each listing that you get, you're going to get 1 entry into the prizes. So we're just going to pick 3 of the names out of there, and that's going to be first, second, and third place. And then the winning team is going to end up, we're going to have a really, really nice lunch for you guys, and we're working on getting a speaker to come and talk about real estate at our lunch.
For listings?
Yeah, for listings, absolutely. Any questions about that? All right.
We're picking our teams like dodgeball, right?
No, we're not picking our teams like dodgeball. Kim, we talked about this last time. As fun as that would be, I don't want to start that war. So yeah, no, it'll be, we're going to break it up based on production, so we have evenly leveled teams across the board. So yeah.
So what counts as a listing?
Anything from
MLS or a listing agreement?
when you have the listing agreement and it's in the MLS. And in the MLS. So and we're gonna backdate this all the way from June 1st. So from June 1st all the way through July 31st, any listing that you take and you put into the MLS, you get credit for it. You get 1 point for the listing in the MLS. You'll get 2 points when it closes. So if it closes between now and July 31st, you get 2 points for that. So any other questions about that? No, 2 total points. 1 point for the listing, 1 for closing. Exactly. 2 additional points. Man, you're really trying to work the system, Virginia. Man. Any other questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
Do those 2 points, are they included,
You get.
if you didn't do the listing within that time? If you did it before, but you're closing in July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was your listing. So let's say if you got the listing in May, but it didn't close until June, you'll still get 1 point for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it's 1 point.
Yeah. But if you took a listing June 1st and it closed July 4th, good luck finding that title company. That was a terrible example. If it closed July 5th, then you'll get 2 points for that. So you'll get 2 little beach balls you get to write your name on and be entered into the drawing. So, any other questions? All right, perfect. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about an open house strategy. What is the best way to get contact information at an open house? Sign-in sheet? Okay. Yeah. What else?
Email them the listing.
Okay. Yes. I like it. I like it. Okay, so you said what?
Email them.
Email them the listing. All right, so somebody come up here and role play this with me. Anyone? Tammy, how about you? I'm volunteering you. Because I know you know what I'm talking about. All right, so let me find a house here in Georgetown that is currently for sale. There's a few of them. Georgetown, Texas. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your open house, or you're going to go to your web page on your KW website, and you're going to search for the house that you're having an open house at. And you'll just save that on your phone. So right now I put homes in Georgetown under 250,000. There's a couple of them. There's like 3. All right, so perfect. 106 Reinhardt Court. Hey Tammy, welcome to our open house today. How you doing?
Great.
Great. Flyer? Well, actually, we're going green. So what we're doing is we're not actually having actual flyers. I have a digital flyer that I can send you. What's the best number for me to send it to?
beaverjunk@gmail.com.
Actually, I'd prefer to text it to you. Would that be okay?
Yes, that'd be
perfect. What would be the best number to text it to you on?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So now we've got her cell phone number.
So it came back, and there you've got her stick up right there.
Hey, you know, I think I might have put your number in incorrectly because it's saying that it didn't go through. Can I double check your number one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what is that number?
512.
Okay.
522.
All right.
2274.
Awesome. Send. Oh, it looks like it went through that time. Perfect. Just make sure that you have it. And then what are you going to do after that? Once you have that, you're going to say, hey, so go ahead and walk through the house. Take your time. Look at it. Look at as much as you want to. And while they're doing that, you're going to text them the link for your app.
Good one.
So while they're going through the house, they're going to be looking at that flyer and kind of walking through. And then when they've kind of finished doing that, you'll send them that link for your app. Because on the App Store, you can go to your app here, and as soon as you log into it, there's a button right here that says Share App, and you can do text. And once you do that, you'll just paste their phone number into there and send them the text message. So at the end of the open house, you just let them know, hey, I went ahead and texted you the mobile app as well, in case you see any other homes in the neighborhood that you're interested in, or if you wanted to just see what other homes are available in the neighborhood, you can just hit the map up at the top right-hand corner of the screen. It'll show you everything that's available here in the neighborhood. So now what have you done? You've gotten their contact information. You've already gotten their name because they introduced themselves at the beginning. Be intentional about remembering their names just for that short period of time if you can. I know Some of us are guilty of it, like going and introducing ourselves and then completely forgetting who they were 3 seconds later. So just have the notes open on your phone or something like that and just put in their name real quick and then save that person as a contact. And you can, I think you can group them into different contact groups on your iPhone. Maybe you just call them Open House 106 Reinhardt. And then you've got contact information, and it's amazing what you can do with contact information. From that phone number, you can usually find their email address, and a lot of times you can even find their home address just by back searching it through a website called Spokeo, Spokeo.com. It's like $14 every 3 months, and you can get a ton of data out of it. So keep those things in mind. Facebook used to let you search for people by phone numbers, but when they had their data breach recently, they stopped allowing people to do that. So you can't search people by phone numbers on Facebook, but once you get their email address, then you can find them. So that should allow you to have your open house contact rates go through the roof because you're verifying their information right there on the spot. And if you come at it from going green and, hey, you know, we actually don't have any flyers, we're going all digital, most people are going to give it to you because you have a reason, you're coming for contribution, and they want to know about the house. The other thing is, those flyers, what happens to them most of the time? They end up on the floorboard of the car. They have mud prints all over them, stuff like that. So, yeah.
So I have a testimonial
Yeah, please.
showing a lease property in Pflugerville. A young couple just graduated from college, and they said, well, do you have any other leases in the neighborhood? So I said, well, I'm going to send you my app, and you can, you know, find it that way. And the guy said he was 26. He goes, you have an app? I said, yes, I do. I didn't develop it.
Wait, you're trying to call me old?
Right. You have an app?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people underutilize that resource, and I think the reason that most people underutilize it is because they don't know how to have the conversation to get it out there. So don't have the conversation about it. Just make it convenient for them, send them the flyer, and then, oh, by the way, I just went ahead and sent you a text message from my mobile app. And every time somebody downloads that, when they register on the mobile app, when they're starting to search for properties, it automatically adds them to your database. And then you can start seeing properties that they've been searching for. So you'll be more top of mind for them when they get used to just using that app when they're driving through neighborhoods or searching for properties. The other thing about it is, hey, you know, that app that I sent you, it's updated constantly. So you're not going to have any lag time in the feeds. As soon as homes hit the MLS, it's going to update it really, really frequently, and you're going to be able to see what's new on the market.
Maybe you'd want to do a tutorial about using the KW app?
Yeah, we can do that. Tell you what, we'll do that. We'll do that for Rising Stars next week at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on Monday is when we'll talk about the KW mobile app. And it's they're working on redoing it right now to even make it more user-friendly. So this is what I love about our company, is how invested they are in the technology. So how many of you guys have heard of an app called Tinder? Okay, it's a dating app. So in order to, if you like someone, you swipe one direction. If you don't like them, you swipe the other direction. Well, what we're working on right now for our company is that same technology for a home, because we want to match people effectively with the homes that they really love. So what we're gonna do is it's gonna be integrated into our app, where we're gonna have a bunch of different pictures of tons of different types of homes. And these pictures are going to be pulled from actual MLS listings. And what they're going to do is, if they like certain things in their phone, they're going to swipe one direction. If they don't like certain features in the home, they're going to swipe the other direction. And through the data that's going to be provided to them, it's going to find all of those features that they truly love in homes and pair them with the homes that are most similar that have almost all of those features in them. So that's going to be crazy. And it's supposed to be available to us within the next 6 to 9 months within our applications. So that'll be a really, really neat feature that you'll be able to use. Yeah.
I want to go back to the app.
Yeah.
You said it automatically adds them to our database.
Yes.
E-Edge, where we put in our
Correct.
contacts?
Yes. It'll add them into eEdge.
Looking at a home, they open it up.
When they open the app and they download the app, they're going to register with their phone number as a subscriber for the app. They don't have to do this, and they'll be able to see homes. But when they get to a certain amount of searches in it, it'll prompt them for their contact information. Once they fill that information out, Correct, but the benefit is you have their phone number now, so you can just call them. I'd call them maybe the next day and say, hey, I just wanted to see if the mobile app was working out for you. Worst thing that happens is you call these people a few times and they tell you, look, I don't ever want you to call me again. In which case you just move on and say, okay, perfect. I'll make sure that we put you on our internal do not call list or something like that. So yeah, you can start to see the trends and the things that they're doing once they have registered for the app. So what do you think about that? Swiping left and swiping right for the features, and then it starts to pair them based upon the things that they like about the homes. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And there's what other things were they talking about in the lab we were in the other day, Kim?
I thought that was Megan.
Or Megan, either one.
I don't know. You know, my one takeaway was them trying to give us access to all MLS information on one device. That was my big thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Megan.
Basically, I wasn't fully aware of the kind of what they're calling the console, which what we were previously made aware of what the e-edge kind of looks like. What we're used to, that dashboard is what they're calling it, that we have those few different things. Visually, I'm very visual, so I was just understanding that console where it was basically just reorienting it and just showing all the different little tools that you would have. And I hadn't seen that in other labs and things we had done, so that was really kind of my biggest takeaway in addition to the crazy, smart, intuitive. It's the photo recognition and being able to connect that with people's desires and being able to recognize certain things is really mind-blowing.
Yeah. And the other thing that they were talking about was the ability to look at photos in the MLS and let you know right off the bat in the app whether or not it's been digitally staged or if it actually looks like that. So let's say that it's got a fake rug or something like that on the floor, or maybe they've put fake carpet in through like digitally. It'll let you know because it's the technology that they're developing is smart enough to be able to see that stuff off the bat and say, hey, you know, that's not real. Just want to give you a heads up, that's digitally staged. Now, most MLSs, and I believe the Austin MLS, only allows you to do so much digitally staging. You can put, I think it'll allow you to put in like pieces of furniture or something like that, but you can't go and digitally carpet a room because that changes the actual reality of what the home truly is.
I don't think they should be able to change the house at all.
I don't think they should either.
Because that's deceiving.
Correct.
Yes.
But what this app, what the app and the website will allow people to see is if it has been changed, it's going to give you a heads up and say, hey, you know, this may not actually be what the house looks like.
Well, the furniture though for a vacant house, that helps because they visualize.
Yeah, exactly.
That's different from
as long as you disclose it, I think.
As long as you disclose it, correct.
Well,
now,
they're not buying the furniture.
Correct.
They're buying the house.
Right, but the carpet would be a different matter because it's gonna stay.
correct.
And so that's false advertising.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why the MLS rules state that there's only so much you can do, and you can't really change what the home truly looks like. Furniture is different because that's assumed to go anyways. How many of you guys are familiar with the KWLS, the Keller Williams Listing Service? Exactly. Most people aren't. And they're revamping the back end of that right now. What you can do right now that most people don't realize is if you have the limited exposure listing agreement and your clients have approved you to do a coming soon status on a home, if you don't want to yet put it in the MLS, but you want to have it advertised on other websites like Realtor.com or Trulia or Zillow, you can put it into the KWLS first, which is a back end. And in order to get to it, you go to your My KW page, then you'll click on the Technology tab, and then you'll go to KWLS. You can put your listing directly into there, and it'll automatically syndicate out if you choose to do it and not put it in the MLS from the very beginning. Now, that would only be for a true, I would only recommend it for a true coming soon status. Of this is going to get ready. We're going to have this, and the days won't start counting yet because you haven't put it in the MLS. Yes, sir.
Why My understanding is that coming soon for Austin is being
It,
discontinued.
correct, it is going to go away.
Well, I thought they were asking for a vote yesterday.
I think they confirmed it, didn't they?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they confirmed it.
But
Yeah.
if you put it in the KWLS,
Correct.
you're getting away from putting it in the MLS.
Correct.
as a
And the
if you wanted to do that.
yes.
That was the whole thing, that the coming soons were typically done as before they go on the MLS. So it's kind of
Yeah.
going back to that whole system. And so Keller Williams is taking into account these changes, so we've got ways to be able to take control.
Yeah. And what they would like to do is that data that they're getting from the people swiping right or swiping left, what they'd like for it to do is be able to kind of integrate between Keller Williams agents. And so if you've got a listing that fits, let's say Kim has a listing, and based upon all of the data that that Megan's clients have been swiping left and swiping right on, it's going to send a notification to both Megan and to Kim and say, hey, Kim, you may want to reach out to Megan because she probably has a client who would be really interested in your home, and vice versa. Megan, Kim has a home that's probably perfect for your clients. So using that extra data where the clients are doing all the work but they think they're playing a game, in swiping left and swiping right for all their features, what it's really doing is getting detailed data about what they're really looking for and trying to make matches happen on the back end of the Keller Williams system and pairing agents and saying, hey, you know, you've got a home that would probably be perfect for Kim's buyers.
Tinder could learn something from us if they start collecting.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're talking about going vice versa, so like matching the houses to people and then matching people to houses.
Exactly.
Within your database with all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the other thing that they're working on is when you have your database and you've gotten a lot of information about these things. When you have a listing that comes up, as soon as you make your listing active in the KWLS system and in the MLS or both or one or the other, what it'll do is say, hey, these 10 people in your database are a 90% match for this home, or these people are a 60% match for the home. And then you can basically sort through your database and see, hey, you know, maybe I should email this listing out to these 10 people and see if it's something they're interested in. Or these are the people that I've sold a home to in the last 5 to 7 years who have a house that matches this criteria. Maybe I should reach out to them and ask them if they'd consider selling. So Keller Williams is investing $41 million in technology this year just to come up with these things for you guys. So it's some pretty amazing stuff that they're coming on.
And it was really encouraging to me because I get really frustrated because my clients want to go to every other source except for me. They want to go to Zillow, they want to go to Realtor.com. They're sitting in my car and they're not even wanting to consult with me. They're on their Google, you know, and they get that. They get it like 110%. They meaning the engineers.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what do we got going on in the Market Center? It's a great question. Building update. I told you they're putting the real windows in on the front of the building, and we signed our certificate of occupancy this morning. So keep June 12th in your calendar as a date of history. Actually, 1 year ago on June 12th, Ryan joined us as our MCA. So congratulations. Happy 1 year anniversary. And what else? Our ALC meeting is going to be next week on the 19th, and we're going to do it at the Axe Throwing Place in Austin. So if you guys want to come and say hi and join us for that, you're more than welcome to.
Did you clear it to see if I'm one-legged good?
I'm going to ask for forgiveness.
Okay.
All right, Michael Trithart is going to be here on the 17th of July. There's a link that Lauren sent out last week that I'll ask her to resend out to everyone. His class is going to be phenomenal. It's a Google class as well as a Facebook class, and he's the best in the Keller Williams system at doing social media, and he's one of the top 10 in the entire country for real estate social media stuff. So you'll also get continuing education hours for that. It's a $79 fee because you get the continuing education hours for it. So
That link will have a sign up on it?
yes, it does have a sign up on it through Eventbrite.
Okay.
Correct. Any other questions about that? Awesome. Ignite, we do not have Ignite today. That should say tomorrow. We have Ignite session 4 tomorrow, and Mrs. Diane Waters is going to be leading it, so you won't want to miss that one. What? No, not on contracts. I can't remember what session 4 is right now off the top of my head. I think it's pricing to sell, but be here tomorrow for it. Yeah. Bold is going to be happening in the very beginning of August. Who's taken Bold before? Who can give me a brief synopsis of what it is?
Kickstart, kick butt, get your mind in the right direction, and making sure you're doing the activities that actually matter.
Correct, yeah. And if you...
have a mental breakdown, then a mental breakthrough.
Exactly. You're going to be, in order to break through, you're going to have to break down, and Bold really pushes you through those, into the breakdown so that you can break through. It's a great class. When I took it back in, when I took it as an agent back in early 2015, I ended up closing 19 deals in a 11-week period. So you can really go crazy during that time. The average agent closes 14 deals within 6 months of taking the class. So it's a good class. Diane, did you have something you want to add?
Is this in Georgetown?
It's actually going to be in Round Rock.
And who's the teacher?
John Prescott. Yeah, John Prescott will be our teacher for it this time. Any other questions about that? And by the way, we have a matching program for it. So at each closing, you'll get reimbursed $200 for it. So in the total of 4 closings, you're completely reimbursed back for the class. And we'll talk more about that, and we'll have a couple of calls with John Prescott when the class comes. Let's see. There's going to be a class that Avis and Steve Schlueter are going to do on Wednesday, June 27th at 8:30 in the morning at the Williamson County Association of Realtors. And what it's going to talk about is the changes that we see happening in our industry and how we can stay ahead of all of those changes, and the things that they've learned from Avis going to the National Association of Realtors convention and all the things that she took away from that. And Steve recently went to a convention called the Gathering of Eagles in Colorado. I don't know why he's a human. He's not an eagle. No, I'm just kidding. Really? That's it? One laugh? Okay. But no, the Gathering of Eagles is like the top real estate companies in the entire country that get together and kind of talk about the trends and things like that they've seen going on. And speaking of top real estate companies in the country, we are in the top 1,000 real estate brokerages in the entire United States of America, and there's 86,000 licensed brokerages in the entire country. So way to go, guys! Congratulations on that. We're like, we're not even in the like 900s. We're like,
meaning
we're like 8 something. Yeah, we as in Georgetown. Keller Williams Realty Georgetown is in the top 1,000 brokerages in the entire country. So I'm proud of you guys. That's yeah. We're in the top 0.09% or 0.9%.
We could get into UT.
Yeah, we could all get into UT. Perfect. You know, actually, I was talking to Donna about that the other day, and I misunderstood what she was saying. It sounded, yeah. What was it? I thought.
About my son having a kid who wants to walk on at Texas State to play baseball. He was in the All-Star game on Sunday, and I'm saying he, and Scott said, your son
is going to go play at UT?
Play baseball? No, Scott.
Yeah, so that goes along the lines of that first video today. Pay attention to all the details, not just one of them. Yeah.
It took me a minute to realize what he was thinking.
I'm just as guilty of it. All right. Anyone have a new listing they want to tell us about? Yeah.
I have 2. I have one in Stone Canyon and Round Rock. It's 3,000 square feet, listed for $370.
Okay.
In 2-story on a 1/4 acre, super nice and clean, easy to show. The other one is on the east side of Round Rock in Terra Vista, in the gardens of Terra Vista. It's a detached garden home in the gated section. 1757 square feet, listed for $324.
And everything is included on the exterior of those homes, with the exception of the backyard, correct?
The HOA does the front yard maintenance, anything outside the gate, and they take care of the painting of the building, but the roof shingles are your own.
Got it. Okay.
Super nice.
Nice. Anyone else? Virginia?
I have a condo in, believe it or not, in Round Rock, city-side condos just north of A.W. Grimes. Just north of 45 off A.W. Grimes. Very nice, 2 bedrooms. Both bedrooms are out, living area downstairs. excellent condition, priced at $214, so we'd love to.
Perfect. All right. Anyone else? Megan?
Should have this, it's been, gosh, way too long coming, so I'm afraid to even say it and jinx it. We're really close to, getting everything pushed through and not pulling it back this time. 5 bedrooms in, Oak, oh my gosh, I forget the name of the subdivision. It's in West Round Rock, over off of 620,
Oakbrook?
Huh?
Oakland?
Oakland is by the hospital at 620.
Oakbrook. Yeah, I knew it was
By
one of the
Avery.
Oaks, one of them. Yeah, Oakbrook. 5 bedrooms, master down, 4 bedrooms up, 3,300 square feet, corner lot. And it's gonna be under 400, I can tell you that.
Nice.
What street? No.
All right. Who else?
My listing at 329 Cedar Lake in Wood Lake is going to be offering now a painting and flooring allowance.
Great.
So, there.
Because those are the two things you said it needed, right?
Those are the two main things. It's a nice house with a pool. So I don't know if you guys saw it last week on property tour.
Okay.
It was the last house on the property tour last week.
Good. All right. Anyone else? All right. How about price improvement? Yeah.
Are we doing coming soon?
Yeah, coming soon. Throw it in too.
Coming soon's 2, 1 in Texas Tradition, so that's still an age-restricted neighborhood here in Georgetown. A 119 Sabine, so it's a 2-bedroom and a study, a small yard, in good condition, and it will be on the market at the end of the week at $280,000. In Sun City, a San Marcos, which is a larger home with 2 bedrooms, a study, 2 living areas on a nice green belt. I've forgotten the square footage, but it will be on the market at the end of the week at $380,000.
Okay. Any other coming soons? All right.
I do have a
Yeah.
coming soon in Del Valley, and I already put it on the MLS for coming soon. It's
Okay.
2-story, 3 bedrooms up, 2.5 bath, 2,350 square feet at $199,777.
199,777.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sounds like a lucky number. All right. Anyone else? All right. How about price improvements? Buyer needs?
Tom has a buyer need.
Yeah.
And I do too, I'll start with his. Up to 500,000, house on acreage in West Williamson County, close enough to attract attention for a wedding venue, or okay to do catering from, so I guess big kitchen would be a
Okay.
must with that one. We've seen pretty much everything on the MLS. Our buyers coming into town this weekend, 5 bedrooms, secondary bedroom down, master up, large backyard, trees, under 400,000, Round Rock or Leander ISD.
What did
Okay.
you say? Master must be up?
Yes, secondary bedroom down. Yeah,
With a full bath then?
yes,
Forget-
yeah, it's for a family member.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyone else? No one else working with buyers?
I do have
Yeah.
a buyer who's not quite sure what he wants. He's either wanting imagine that, but he either wants a house on an airstrip,
Okay.
so something like out at Lakeway, or out at Cedar Break.
Talk to Chris Aldridge.
Well,
And Diane Waters, I'm the listing agent on that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that.
His price point is about 5.
He just mentioned it yesterday.
range.
Okay.
So he's not at their price point. I know, that's too high.
What about that one place here in Georgetown? Are there any homes in there that have?
It's actually in Hutto, I think.
Is that technically
Well,
Hutto?
it's Georgetown, Texas, but I think it's
strip.
Hutto area.
Got it.
It's a grass strip, so it may not be suitable for the type of.
He doesn't actually have his plan yet. It's gonna be like a $30,000 Cessna. So it's not gonna be a high dollar one.
Well,
Oh.
the grass, I don't think is gonna be.
Just put some off-road tires on it. You're good to go.
The only
I don't know
problem
anything
with
about
that-
planes.
The only negative to that neighborhood is you have to be a pilot
Yeah.
to own in there.
So he'd have to have
Correct.
his license.
Well, and so for resale, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
They're on
Oh,
the, they're on the market forever.
Yeah, and each home has its own hangar,
Townhouse,
right?
Not all of them do.
Not all of them do. Okay. Yeah.
He's also also considering land, you know, way out in wherever we find it, so 50 to 100 acres.
So
That
he
he
can
could
build
put
his
his own, yeah. But again, his budget is still in the 500 range.
I've got a deeper pocket if you've got a piece of land, he wants it, I've got a guy that wants that, but he wants it really rural. So if you've got something really far out that's got the long strip, I can jump on that too, so think about airstrips for us.
Yeah. Flat
All right.
Flat land, long.
They ought to buy some together.
Yeah, split the
One
cost.
airstrip, yeah.
$1 million, shared piece of land, one airstrip. There you go.
See if our guys know each other.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not the same guy.
Yeah, well, when I asked him to sign the failure rep, he kind of disappeared on me a little, so I'm not quite sure.
You mentioned Megan.
But he's probably with you. It's completely different.
Yeah, she upped his price $100,000, and he was okay with. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's looking for, yeah, it's very different.
That okay? So you laugh about that, but it has actually happened before, where somebody came to me and talked to me about a buyer that they were representing, and I'm having some challenges finding something, yada yada yada. What do you recommend? And then, like 2 days later, somebody came to me and told me, I'm working with a buyer, having some challenges, and I was like, is this the same? You might want to talk to, and sure enough, it was the same person that was kind of working with two different people.
Hopefully one of them had a buyer's rep.
Actually, neither of them did at that point in time, so. Yeah. Yes, Sue.
It's kind of, I'm working with a buyer, but they have a property in Llano that they're trying to sell,
Okay.
which obviously is not my listing, but, so I was gonna try and share it from my app,
Okay.
their listing, but it doesn't show up on our app.
Their listing doesn't show up?
It shows up on realtor.com, but it doesn't show up on our KW app.
Which MLS is it in? Is it?
It's Llano, so that would be, maybe.
That's the problem.
It could be Highland Lakes, because Highland
That's
Lakes
a problem.
may not. Does it? For you?
Sometimes, it does sometimes.
Does sometimes. I would suggest sharing it, I would go online and go to your, like, search your
Website.
name.
Right.
Yeah, do it through, I would do it that way. Yeah, I would search your name, KW, and the address, and that way you
It's
can.
not her listing.
I agree, that is a
app.
problem.
There's stuff that doesn't show up on our app, and I don't know why, even both, like
Oh,
Llano.
land and lots, it's completely inconsistent.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be one reason I use realtor.com.
That's fine.
But I mean, I was just seeing if anybody else had similar issues with.
Well, that's one of the things that they know, and they recognized the other day at the thing that they are working on.
Okay.
So.
So if anybody has somebody looking for something outside of town, I would love for somebody to buy their house in Llano so that I can sell it from here.
Good. Good. Anyone else?
I do have a buyer that's coming back around that is looking for land that's maybe 8 acres plus, preferably Gerald or Granger area, or East Georgetown, with a place they could put maybe 2 manufactured homes.
Okay. Awesome. Anyone else? All right, let's give it up for our sponsor, Moving Crew. Come on in, guys. Hey, how are you?
Very good. How are
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me. My name is Lizzie Samples, and I'm with the Moving Crew. My team and myself have been helping people relocate while managing stress for the last 4 years. What our services include are packing, unpacking, moving, loading, that means rearranging the house or loading a rental or storage. We also do unloading. We haul away furniture, and we also now offer storage. So we are family owned and operated. We are fully licensed and insured, and we are 5-star on Yelp and Google. I'm trying to think of anything else. I just got really nervous.
Are you statewide or national?
We are
or?
actually local to Georgetown. Our office has moved to Georgetown, so we are a Georgetown moving company, and we go all over the state of Texas.
Okay.
Locally, we can go all the way up to Liberty Hill, all the way down to Buda, and that's a normal service area. Anything up to Dallas we can do, it just changes the pricing.
Good.
I just wanted to say I've had 3 clients who've used you recently, and they've all been very pleased, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
One was moving to South Austin, one was moving to Tyler, and there was a third one, I can't think who it was right now, but anyway, so those.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jump on that. I've loved using you guys. My assistant just used you, and we've got other people. So you guys, you're awesome.
Thank you very much.
Best prices.
Good.
And so we have sandwiches and a pasta salad. It's wonderful. And thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
On the storage, is that temperature control? Tell us a little more about the storage real quick.
The actual 10 by 10, 10 by 30, we partner with the storage facility.
Okay.
They do climate control. But we also offer parking. So if you know anybody with RV or boats or just that extra car in the front yard that needs a spot, we offer a parking area for them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, if nobody has anything else, have a wonderful week. We'll see you tentatively on Thursday at 3:30 at the new building. All right? Have a good day, everyone. See y'all later.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.